Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Close? Okay. Anyway, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me here today. I'm just honored to be here. I live in Dallas, Texas. Security for Elvis Presley was like presidential security. You had to, he couldn't do anything that we do. He didn't live in our world. So when Elvis came to town, I had to put all the security in the hotel. I had to take care of all the security at the venue so that at any given time, Elvis was never exposed to a lot of people because they would mob him. Not intentionally trying to hurt him, but the women, when they say Elvis, they don't see anything else. So I'm sure the ladies can relate to that. When he threw scarves out, as you notice, one of my responsibilities also was the security in front of the stage. If two women ever got a hold of the same scarf, I had to have a knife and cut it in two. Godzilla could not pry their hands off that scarf. That was a prized item for the women when they got down and actually got a scarf. A couple of times that I got pinned against the stage with the women, I couldn't move. Elvis would look down and just sort of laughing. So, He thought it was funny when things like that happened. And if Elvis ever gave you a ticket to a concert, if you were his guest, he paid for that ticket. There were no complimentary tickets to an Elvis concert. I paid for my wife, the Colonel paid for his wife, Elvis paid for his gifts. Also, if you got a ticket from Elvis Presley, it was always 10 rows back or more. He wanted the fans to have the front row. When we put tickets on sale, we would always hire a monitor to go to every box office to monitor to be sure that people standing in line got the first tickets. Now today we have a computer where you just go online and order them and you don't have to do it. But remember, back then there were no computers. Everything was done one at a time. We had a limit of 10 tickets per person. Elvis bought 10 tickets to every show, and he would give them to his friends. If he didn't use them, he'd give them back to me, which after the show starts, they're worthless. But I still have some at home as memorabilia. Everybody wanted to meet Elvis Presley. And most girls that I meet, and even probably you ladies, would say, I would love to have talked to Elvis Presley, right? What would you say? Most of them say, I don't know. It'd be a short conversation. But a couple of stories about how stars wanted to meet Elvis. We played Anaheim, California, which is just south of Los Angeles. We had a matinee, a daytime show, and backstage, nobody is allowed. Not even the venue manager's allowed backstage. So one of the guards comes up to me that I've hired and says, you need to come backstage and tell this limo they can't park inside. I said, well, is it Elvis or the Colonel? No. I said, well, tell them to go on. He said, I'm not going to do it. You have to do it. So, don't forget now, I'm only about 24, 25 years old at this time, 26. So I go walking out the back door. There's a limousine there. So I tap on the front door. The chauffeur is there. He rolls the window down about 6 inches and points to the back. No problem. So I go to the back window, knock on the window. It goes down. It's Elizabeth Taylor. So I have to tell Elizabeth Taylor she cannot come in backstage. And she says, well, okay, well, thank you very much. And she goes around to the front and walks in just like everybody else. Now, can you imagine walking into an Elvis show right next to Elizabeth Taylor? So stars were also elated and just wanted to meet Elvis. So it's unbelievable. We played in Washington one time, and Elton John came to the show. Now, Elton we worked with, and I know Elton personally. He wanted to meet Elvis. Elvis came in the arena. Elvis was never there for more than 10 minutes before he goes on stage. So we say, Elton's in the audience. Would you meet him? He says, well, I got some things to do, but yeah, make it quick. So I go out and bring Elton in, and I don't know if you have the hydraulic doors where they open and then close real slow over here. You know what I'm talking about? So I take Elton in. We introduce him to Elvis. How you doing? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And he's right out. He wasn't in there 30 seconds. But he's happy as he can be because he got to meet Elvis Presley. So stars were not immune to what we do as well. There's a few people I would like to meet. But, you know, everybody's enamored with stars. But Elvis was king of the hill. So another time, we were in Philadelphia, and backstage the door opens and here comes a car, and it's no car that I've ever authorized. So he pulled in and I say, get it out. And I open the door and it's Muhammad Ali. Well, first of all, I know that Elvis would love to meet Muhammad Ali. So he got to stay, but on not many occasions would someone come in unexpected and get to stay and meet Elvis Presley. We played Texas one night, and Elvis is a very nice, caring man. Let me tell you that right off the start. There's no nicer man that ever walked the face of this earth. He loved people. He loved doing things for people. So we played Texas, and I had a 4-year-old daughter at the time. So my family came to the show. Elvis comes in. Joe Esposito comes up and said, Elvis wants you to bring your family back to the dressing room for a photo. I didn't ask for it. So I go out and get my daughter and my wife. We go back to Elvis's dressing room. So my wife is holding my daughter, walks in, we get ready for the photo. So Elvis tries to take her from my daughter. Nope, not going to happen. I mean, she was not going to let Elvis even touch her. So after maybe 30 seconds, we realized this is not going to work. So we left without a photo. After we left, my wife asked my daughter, why would you not let Elvis hold you for a photo? She says, well, first of all, the room in those days, the dressing rooms were like an athletic gymnasium, just all tiled, nothing fancy. She says, well, I wasn't going to let that man dressed real funny in that big bathroom hold me. Oh, God, darling, I said, you got to be the only girl on the face of this earth that turned Elvis down. But she still remembers that to this day. But another thing is that about touring Europe. Everybody thought the Colonel was going to keep Elvis from touring Europe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the week that he died, I made reservations to fly to London, England, to book Wembley Arena for the first time they had 7 days in a row. Well, sadly, that never happened, but that would have been a monumental concert. Monumental. I think Led Zeppelin played their reunion there, and those tickets some of them went for $10,000. I can't imagine what Elvis's tickets would have gone for. But anyway, that's what it was. Everybody says, what was your best moment with Elvis? And I said, that was an easy question. It's when he gave you my TCB. I can't remember exactly what city it is, but Sonny came out and got me when he got in the building and said, Elvis wants to see you. Well, the first thing I think of is, uh-oh, what did I do? So we go in the dressing room, and Elvis says, come here, Charles. So he walks over, and he puts a TCB around my neck. Now, you don't ask for a TCB. And this was after about 2 years of working for him. And I said, oh, man, I almost cried. I was so excited about it. But once you get a TCB, you're in his inner circle. So, man, that was one of the best moments that I ever had with Elvis Presley.